And we are live with another episode of BS Busters. I'm joined by Jewel Rider Moonstar and Pinky Don, but Pinky Don is currently indisposed at the moment, chowing down on some Chinese food. So, I mean,
We'll
I'll
hear
let
from him
Jewel.
later.
Yeah, I'll let Jewel introduce herself, and when Pinky Don gets back in, he can introduce himself. But Jewel, introduce yourself.
Salutations, ladies and gentlemen. This is Joe Rider Eli Moonstar, the gaming mage, and it's about time we answer some questions.
Yes, and before we get to those, we have some surprise topics to get through because I want everyone who's here to really be able to, field their answer the questions. So without much ado, the first surprise topic is, in light of all the various beat 'em ups that we have and stuff like that, what would there's slash 'em ups that were also popular back in the day, like Golden Axe and Knights of the Round and Dragon's Den, stuff like that. How could these games be brought back into a modern age? I know Sega tried with Golden Axe Beast Battler, but
we knew how that went.
Yeah, that game sucked. So Beast Battler sucked.
That's putting it lightly.
Yeah, that game was not good at all. So, what IP could be brought back, and how would you do it? I'll let you go first, Joel.
This is probably gonna cut into other topics a little. Other genre, but why not Diablo or what was it? Oh yeah, our famous dungeon game of sorts.
D&D.
D&D and what was it? I'm trying to think of that game that you probably get it if I use a line from it.
Gauntlet
The
Legends
wizard is in need of health.
Gauntlet Legends.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Yeah, Gauntlet Legends could be a good beat 'em up.
Yeah, but if anything, if hack and slashes could probably take a gauntlet page in a sense, going all directions, adding the button combo of sorts.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
At times even going with some improv weapons or the sort.
Yeah, they tried to do that with Gauntlet Legends, Seven Sorrows, but it didn't work. I mean, I guess it just didn't really click with audiences, but
I can understand that one. But if anything, I would have went with a system that's like Soul Calibur, having different weapons that have different effects.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
You have different weapons, armor, all that stuff, and you try to go through the game with that certain style, and maybe get a bonus of sorts for doing so.
Yeah, I mean, I'd be down with it. I'd be down with that.
This is my D&D talking here, so if anything, I'm sorry in advance.
Well, I mean, I'm gonna take the D&D route too, but I'm gonna go in a different direction than what you did with the Gauntlet Legends reboot. Bringing it to the modern gaming thing. I think that's cool, man.
Time for the first round.
Yeah, we're doing the surprise topics first, and we'll close out with the questions. The first surprise topic is in light of like we've talked about beat 'em ups being updated for a modern time. This time we're talking about hack and slashers. So in the vein of like a Golden Axe or Chronicles of Mystara or King of Dragons, the Capcom games, the Capcom hack and slashers, Knights of the Round. What games could possibly what franchises from those days could be brought back in a more modern age? I was going to go, but since you're here, you can go.
Let's see. I haven't played much hack and slash games from those
Mhm.
eras. So I do, so I do like to see Golden Axe make a comeback.
Yeah, that'd be cool. That'd be cool. So how would they update it for the modern age? Because I mean, Golden Axe is one of those games that it's like a really good idea, but the problem is that to me, Golden Axe just doesn't play very well. Like there are games that came out in the same 16-bit era that played better as side-scrolling hack and slashers, like Knights of the Round or King of Dragons or Chronicles of Mystara.
Well, they can make a new Golden Axe game that fixes all of the control problems that plagued the older titles,
Yeah, that'd be cool.
plus some new elements to make it fresh.
All right. Um, that's
And
cool.
and I think that's about it.
Okay, then. So I guess it's my turn.
And I remember that you were saying that you would go the D&D route with it.
Yeah, I'm gonna go the D&D route, and like the reason people like D&D is because you have character customization, and for people who want to play D&D, and then you have people who want to be the DMs and build these massive quests that usher people through a story. So I thought, what would be a cool way to do this and scratch both of those itches while at the same time also um, letting you have gaming quality is what if you made a D&D game where it's built upon using cells, kind of like old school beat 'em ups where you move from cell to cell beating up enemies, but like that same engine that's used to make the levels in a D&D style hack and slash is also what you use as a creative kit for people who want to be DMs and make stories and side quests and stuff like that. And this game would have all the stuff you like about D&D. Like you'd have your classes and you'd have levels, and at different levels you could take feats and stuff and skill sets and stuff like that and upgrade your stats. So basically, like my fighter would not be the same as someone else's fighter. My thief would not be the same as someone else's thief, because we might want to make our thieves completely different. And then once you reach level 20, you can class up, change into a different class or take a more advanced class. And you start at 1, you take a slight hit in your stats, but you get to keep all your abilities. And that way you can become a more powerful character as the game goes along. I think that would be a really cool thing to do. But for people out there who want to be DMs and they're not that interested, like you could have a community of people who play the game and just make quests and modules and adventures, right? And you download it and you load it, and then you can play through it. And like in DM mode, you could basically get these cells and connect them together and put characters in them and little encounters and stuff. And I think that'd be a good way you could really get people into D&D without all the die rolls and stuff, and spending hundreds of dollars on the books and the manuals and all that stuff.
And all that dice rolling just poof.
Yeah, I've been there. So like when 3.5 came out, I spent over about 5 or 6 years like $800, which for someone who was in junior high school was a lot of money. Junior high school was a lot of money.
I was about to say, 3rd edition?
3.5. Not 3rd edition was a little bit before I could actually get my hands on money. So
I'm just checking it because if I remember right, 3rd edition was one of those black sheep editions.
No, it was 4th edition. 4th edition was the one where you had the like you had the maps, and like you had figurines, and you moved the figurines on a map, and they had like movement parameters and stuff like that. And I mean, most of the people I know hated that. I kind of agreed with them because Like D&D is expensive enough without me having to get out all of these dioramas and play sets. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And having to paint figurines and junk. That was just too much. That was
What
just
is
too
what's the current version of D&D?
5.
It's about 5 right now.
Yeah, it's 5.
Alright.
Like in the 70s, it was 1.0, and then they did 1.5 in like the early 80s, and then they did 2 in the late 80s, and then they did 2.5 in the early 90s, mid 90s.
If you're wondering, D&D really levels up slowly. I mean, we're in
level 1, yeah. In version 1 to 2.5, it was a bitch to level up because the max level from 1 to 2 was like 20. And like, but here's the thing.
I was making a joke about the Dungeons and Dragons system itself leveling up.
Well, yeah, but I mean, even back in the day, like it was a bitch to level up. Like a wizard at level 1 maybe had like 6, 7 hit points. But like when your wizard became more powerful and you started being able to cast more powerful spells, you really did feel like a badass once you got to level like 17, 18, 19, 20. You felt like, man, I accomplished something. Same thing with every other class. Like once you really started to become more powerful, you were like, damn, I'm feeling like a badass here. I mean, D&D now is kind of easy. I mean, I hate to say that. Like it's not like easy, but it's like it's a lot more accessible to get into. Like, I mean,
it's a bigger door.
Yeah, but I'm gonna tell you right now, don't play any of the Gary Gygax original modules because everything in a Gary Gygax module is trying to kill you. Like everything. Like you could walk into a room and there'd be a cat. That cat would try and kill you. The door would try and kill you. The chair in the room would try and kill you. The window would try to kill you. The fireplace.
The only place that's safe is with an NPC.
No, even then, NPC. There's a module that Gary Gygax did where it was basically an adventure set in the in Wonderland from Alice in Wonderland.
No.
And literally everything tries to kill you. Like you meet the worm. That's the smoking worm, and basically it tries to hypnotize you so that it can kill you. Like literally, like everything's trying to kill you. Like Gary Gygax was a sadistic. He was a sadistic DM. That's all I got to say on that. Like just like Gary Gygax module.
I'm glad that I never had him for DM.
Is there a Middle Earth version?
Yeah, there's D&D games for everything. There's D&D for Middle Earth. There's D&D for Cthulhu style gameplay.
There's Star Wars D&D.
There's Star Wars D&D. Well, I didn't know about the Power Rangers, but it doesn't surprise me that there's one.
I wonder how long there's going to be a Zelda D&D.
There probably is a custom-made Zelda D&D. There probably is. You just have to look for it. There probably is, though.
You gotta dig for some of these things.
But I get because D&D is so modular. You can like I'm guessing if you did a D&D a Zelda style D&D, the only caveat was that you couldn't be Link, Ganon, or Zelda. You'd have to be some other NPC. But I mean, as long as you're not one of the Triforce holders, the sky's the limit. You can be a Goron, you can be a Zora, you can be a Kokiri, you can be a Hylian.
Makes me wonder what kind of stories are with that.
D&D because there are so many races.
Yeah, the races would have their own strengths and weaknesses. Like, you're a Zora, which means like if you're underwater, you fight really well. Or a moist environment, you get a bonus to damage and dodging and like the amount of damage you do to enemies. But if you're on dry land or someplace that's hot, you
screwed.
take a penalty. Yeah, you take a penalty. Maybe the Gorons are, they're tough, but if they have to do feats of agility, they take a hit. I mean, like you could really do some cool stuff. And the Hylians we're pretty well balanced. And the all-female race, well, the Gerudos, they're females. Like if you play as a Gerudo, you're gonna have to be female, or a dude who was adopted into the Gerudos, which could happen because we know now that if you pass their little trial and you're a man, you can be adopted into the Gerudos. We learned that from Ocarina of Time. You can be adopted into the Gerudos and become a thief, which is actually a pretty cool way to go.
They could be either the rogue types or just glass cannons.
Well, I mean, I think the cool thing about if you did a Zelda D&D would be like you have the races, and the races can be any class they want to be. It's just you have certain pluses or minuses that make them better. Like, let's say maybe the Gorons, you can have a Goron magic user, but they aren't as good as maybe a Hylian magic user or a Kokiri magic user or a Gerudo magic user or a Zoro magic user, because the Gorons are more physical, punch somebody in the face rather than get a wand out and shoot somebody with a laser. I just don't see a Goron doing that, Because you notice something in Legend of Zelda games, the Gorons have never been defeated through pure physical force. Like every time they've been in a bad situation, it's because of some other, like either magic was done or some other majorly powerful being is holding them hostage. Like, because no one in their right mind wants to fight rock people. I wouldn't. It's like, look, if I was,
you gotta be kidding me if you think that you could take on a Goron in pure strength.
An army of rock people. No. That's the game I want to see. I want to see the Legend of Zelda where there's where you have to build an army and forge an army together of these disparate races in order to take on an army of Ganon's evil monsters, but you actually get to see the Gorons on the field beating the shit out of moblins and lizard monsters.
Wasn't there a Goron sumo sport?
Yeah. Well, in Twilight Princess, yeah, they also do sumo, but I mean, they're just badass. Gorons are badass as hell. But that's neither here nor there. Let's move on to the second
second topic.
To the second topic, which is damn, I forgot. Damn, I forgot. Let's just move on to the questions.
Is it Microsoft?
Well, let's start with Cube Fox's question. Cube Fox, sometimes I think Nintendo should enter the PC business alone or maybe with a partner, perhaps NVIDIA, I don't know. I'm tired of Windows and its problems. They should also enter on a printer business because I'm tired of paying so much for a small cartridge. In Italy, there are areas where the internet is very weak. I noticed that the browsing with the Wii U is much easier than with the Windows PC if you have to go read-only. Even in some places where usually in the mountains or isolated places where the line is back minus 6 or 5 megabytes per second, Windows PCs stop the download, but not Wii U. That surprisingly manages to execute the update. I'm not kidding. That's the Wii U is a console for the poor and for poor lines. I'm curious to know what does Mr. Red Fox think about a Nintendo PC Wii U style, or maybe a PC with an OS developed by Nintendo. So I guess I'll answer first, and then you guys can give your takes on it. What do I think about Nintendo PC? I mean, it would be cool if Nintendo made a Nintendo themed PC, but I don't think Nintendo should do that because, why? Because I mean, Nintendo. What kind of
logic is there for it?
Well, Nintendo basically they make consoles and handhelds. That's their thing. Even the Switch, everyone's like, man, the Switch is going to take over for 3DS. No, it isn't, because the 3DS is at 70 million, and the Switch is at
15
almost 15 million at this point. Let's just say 15.
Plus, they already confirmed that the 3DS will still continue getting support.
Well, of course, because there's 70 goddamn million 3D. Like, here's the thing, okay? No one in their right mind cuts off a 70 million strong install base with no competition.
And if any competition was around, it's already buried under the ground right now.
Well, there's no I mean, some people say, well, what about the Vita? Yeah, what about the Vita? what are you trying?
As I said, any competition that was supposed to try, they're already buried 6 feet underground.
What you trying to say?
And let's not forget the other handhelds in the past, such as the Game Gear or...
Yeah, basically any handheld that's gone up against a Nintendo system, a Nintendo handheld, has gotten deep sixed. It's gotten curb stomped. And the hilarious thing is that I mean, but the reason you're talking about the reason Nintendo's OS works is because Nintendo's OS is very lean. It's designed like basically when it comes to an operating system on the PC, the more lean the operating system is, the better it is. It's the reason why people don't. It's the reason why most people who are really into PCs and like PC stuff don't really like Windows, because Windows is a resource hog. It's a total resource hog. It's very resource intensive, memory intensive, both active memory and storage memory. It's just very intensive. I mean, Nintendo is all about they're all about using the least amount of resources to get the most amount of return. So if they made an OS, which they made an OS for the Wii, they made an OS for the Wii U. Like literally, the Wii and the Wii U OS are some of the best OSs I've ever seen on a console.
I was about to say, it's really that smooth.
Yeah, it's like this OS is really good, despite the fact that it's on the Wii and the Wii U. It's really, really good. So I mean, like, would I want a PC with an OS developed by Nintendo? If Nintendo developed an OS, an operating system, and I mean, I'd be happy with it. I wouldn't put it on my main PC, but maybe a laptop or something like that.
I have to see it before I would do anything like that.
Well, I mean, if the OS continued the trend of Nintendo using the least amount of resources for the most amount of thing, if it let me check my emails, surf the internet, look up stuff, and it was like 30 or 40 megabytes, I'd be totally down with that. Because I mean, at this point, Windows is killing me. It's such a resource hog, and
That's
Linux.
what I'm saying, that if anything, I would want to see how Nintendo runs their OS, which is usually pretty beeping smooth.
Yeah, and Linux is a bitch. So, I mean, I know a lot of people swear by Linux. A lot of PC people gotta go with Linux. Look, I should not have to get a degree in programming in order to use an OS. That's the pain
in the rear end that I hear all about Linux. That
yeah.
It's easy to use, but you need a master's degree.
Well, I mean, it's not that far. It's just you have to know basic programming in order to really use it. Here's the thing, though. This is why Windows is kind of like, and Chrome kind of get the edge, is because Windows, despite all its bullshit, is very easy to use. And when you have an OS, you want something that's easy to use versus, like, people want ease of use over versatility, which is kind of, I think you can have both, but whatever. Your thoughts, Pinky?
Well, I'm not sure I'm into the idea of Nintendo developing for PC, since they're first and foremost a console/handheld maker.
All right.
I mean, has there been any PC systems built completely dedicated to gaming besides those PC softwares, PC hardware is built solely for gaming for the highest resolutions and whatnot?
Yeah, the Atari ST and the MSX in Japan, the Sharp 3800. Like there have been PCs in the past that were built just from the ground up just for gaming. The problem is that
those usually cost an arm and a leg.
Well, they were expensive for the time, and they couldn't do other. Like, here's the thing. Like, it's like how I said earlier, people want ease of use and versatility. People like PCs because they can do a lot of things. Having a PC that's built just solely for gaming and nothing else, because I've seen PCs like that. They have like a very bare bones Linux or Windows OS that's geared towards gaming. No Office, no emails, just totally just gaming. And it's like, damn, this is a bitch. Because I mean, you want to do other things with your PC. You want to check your email. If you got to write a paper, you want to be able to do that. You want to surf the internet. There's other stuff you want to do with your PC aside from just
Yeah, I mean, PC is usually known as Jack of all, Master of zero.
Yeah, there's things that a PC can do very well, and there's things that a console can do very well, and they're two completely different things.
and we got a PC, and we also got a PC elitist commenting on one of VGF's contributors, which I already shared in my page, not a few weeks ago.
I mean, I think. No, go ahead.
I'm sure you yourself saw it before, right?
I probably didn't see it, but PC elitists use the same arguments all the time. Some of which are valid, some of which are not. So
let's see, I could find it. Yeah, it was when you commented saying, "I have to say, the pro console argument falls apart under scrutiny."
Well, yeah. I mean, I hate to say this, but people who like to say that, the people who say consoles are better than PCs, now, if you'd have said it like 2 gens ago, like if you said a console is better than a PC for gaming 10 years ago, I would agree with you. If you said it 15 years ago, I'd agree with you. Now, no, it's not true, because the consoles now, aside from what Nintendo's been putting out, aren't really they're not consoles. They're shitty micro PCs that have none of the versatility of a PC. So I mean, like the arguments that people say, I just want to put my game in and play it. Really? You can do that with an Xbox One and a PS4? Because last time I checked, like the game has to download a patch before you can play it.
And usually that patches the entire game,
or a good chunk of the game. Like the game, like that Tony Hawk reboot where the game was like 18 gigs, but then when you put it in to play it, it had to download another like 20 gigs on top of that.
I remember that issue.
Yeah, so I mean, like the arguments that people make about why console gaming is better than PC gaming now, this gen, and it's still gonna keep on getting shittier and shittier as it goes on with Microsoft and Sony, because they made their consoles so PC-like. I'm like, I don't consider that to be a valid argument, because they aren't. Like, you won't find anyone who's gonna be like, yeah, man, I can just go and play my games. No, you can't. Why would you lie like that? It's easier. Not really, no. So, but that's just me. I'm that guy. I'm the guy who thinks like that. But yeah, I agree with you that, the only reason they fall apart to scrutiny is because the way gaming is now. Now, what these people like to say, it needs to be better. Yeah, it would be. Like, consoles were better, 10 years ago, 15 years ago. Now, no.
Yeah, and Sony and Microsoft are to blame for this, because they are. When they're trying to be like PCs themselves.
Well, I think it's Sony and Microsoft and third parties basically running those companies. Like, mostly it's Microsoft and Sony not having balls to run their own console division. They're like, well, we gotta make sure the third parties are happy. And it's not like the third parties care about quality,
I was about to say, look what happened with Atari when it let third parties rule the world.
Yeah, it's not like they care. So, I mean.
So, and you, Joel, what is your answer for QB Fox's question?
For me, I honestly wouldn't want them to try going into the hardware business against PCs, because I'm not honestly sure how the beep they're gonna market against who else? Microsoft and that degree.
Yeah, but Microsoft doesn't make PCs either.
What about Apple?
Apple makes PCs that are incredibly expensive and when you really think about it, suck.
That's why I always wonder that how the Hades do people say Apple is better than PC?
Oh, I used to have an Apple Mac until it died years ago.
I mean, look, listen. I'm of that age where, like back in the day where like all the school PCs were Macs, right? I'm of that age, right? So I understand where people are coming from, where they like Mac things. But the thing is that
I was about to say that I've been between both Mac and PC, so I was wondering that myself.
yeah, it's not that I have anything against
Apple.
well, I mean, it's not that I have anything against Apple. It's just Apple is very they're like to me, I see no difference between an Apple computer and a PC, except Apple has a more of a controlled and closed system, which to me kind of goes against the spirit of owning a PC. Like the whole point of owning a computer is that you can do whatever the hell you want. Like you got your money for the hardware and the software. Now let me do what the hell I want to do with it. Like that's why you get a PC, is because you want to be able to do whatever like a computer.
You want flexibility.
Yeah, you want to be able to mod it and do whatever the hell you want. Apple's like, no, you got to pay our exorbitant ass prices for the same shit. I mean, the same functionality, but I have to
Probably the reason why I see some people install a PC mod into their Apple.
I mean, like, why should I have to pay your exorbitant ass price? And I know Apple fans are going to be like, well, it's because you're paying for.
I mean, that's the.
I just don't see them as having quality, and I know some people are going to get mad, and you know they're going to be like, "How dare you? You should love these devices." But I just like I have some fond memories of Apple products, but it's not because of anything Apple did. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's because of what you did on it, not because of Apple itself.
Plus, I don't like paying those exorbitant fees. I'm sorry. I know some people are going to get mad.
I'm going to agree with you on. Though, as I was saying, as far as doing an an OS system, I have to wait and see how that will work.
I mean, like, here's the thing: if it followed Nintendo's philosophy of
innovation,
well, low impact, not a lot of bullshit, I'd be cool with it. But the problem behind all of it is basically that like Nintendo makes video games and that's what they do, and I'm okay with that. Like I'm okay with them making video games and consoles. Like I don't think they should leave what they're good at for some bullshit, you know.
Yeah, that's why I said wait and see, because if Nintendo tries it and it works, then I'd be actually surprised.
But I mean, or for your laptop or something like that, I'd be down with it.
Yeah, that's the reason why I said wait and see with anything like that.
So let's move on to the next question.
Or is it the next part of the question? Because I remember.
That's part of the first question.
Yeah. So the next part of the question is. Did I like Zero? I guess he's talking about Star Fox Zero. Have you ever noticed that few reviewers have explained the amazing co-op mode? So that's I guess that's the end of that question. So who wants to tackle that one?
I'll go first. I definitely enjoyed Star Fox Zero, though I haven't tried out the co-op mode since nobody ever plays the Wii U. Nobody doesn't play the Wii U with me.
I'm joking. I mean, I don't know.
Same boat.
Like, here's the thing. Star Fox Zero, to me, the co-op mode may be amazing, but Star Fox is not a multiplayer game. I know everyone's like, "Oh man," to me, it's not a multiplayer game. So I don't really care.
To say multiplayer is at times Hades. If you remember the 64 and the 3DS versions.
I don't think Star Fox games should have a multiplayer. Like Star Fox is an on-rail shooter. It should, like, if you're gonna have co-op, then the co-op should be
all your buddies flying together and shooting things down.
Well, no, to me, the cockpit mode.
Well, what I'm saying is that the co-op should either be like it shouldn't be co-op. Like the co-op should be you controlling an R-wing and someone else controlling an R-wing in the same level. Like it shouldn't be.
That's what I was saying. The squad, like all R-wings and control.
Like if you're gonna do that, it shouldn't be like, okay, I'm controlling the ship, you're the gunner, because that just seems kind of weird for a Star Fox game. And I'm saying this as someone who's an old school Star Fox fan. Okay.
If you played Double Dash, then it probably would be a bit easier for you to understand, but still, it's a...
No, I like Double Dash. Double Dash is one of my favorite games, but I just don't, like, for me, Star Fox shouldn't have that. I'm just saying, I know some people are going to get mad. They're going to be like, oh, but, like, I don't think a game that's traditionally single player should have a multiplayer, because resources that could have been put into making Star Fox
bigger,
like adding more shit to it and making it into a more in-depth game, they were trying to get the co-op to work. It's like, okay, this kind of brings it down a little bit for me. And like, I mean, but that's not just a Star Fox issue. That's just an issue with most games. I think a lot of games should not have multiplayer. I think multiplayer is a waste of resources for a lot of games. I know some people are going to get mad. Oh, how dare you?
That depends on the game.
Really. I have to take a quick trip to the restroom while you two answer that question.
Well, do what you gotta do, man. So that's just my feeling. Like
I'd say it depends on the game for multiplayer.
The co-op may have been awesome, but I don't think it needed to be there. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, with Star Fox, unless you're doing a squad multiplayer, as in everyone's flying together.
Yeah, like if they did a multiplayer where like you're playing as different ships, like you've got Fox, maybe you're Falco and someone else is like another ship, that'd be cool. I would be down with that. That wouldn't bother me. But the problem is that that's not what we're getting.
Yeah, that's the thing. I know. I would say would be a multiplayer if it was done in a certain way.
So, I mean, the co-op, I mean, not that the co-op within and of itself was bad, but I just think it could have been better, just in my own little personal opinion. And I know some people are going to get mad. I'm going to be like, how dare you?
It depends.
Because people get mad all the time. They're like, you know. Like, to me, Star Fox Zero is just one of those games that's like, it's not terrible, but it's not as good as people like will tell you. It's not terrible, but it's not my favorite Star Fox game. Like, I personally prefer well, I mean, I've already said this. My favorite Star Fox is the original
64.
Yeah, I don't even like 64 that much, because just, you know.
I know. Because if anything, it's the D-pad and how it was more innovative and how it played than the Star Fox 64 and Star Fox 64 3D.
Not really. No, I just don't like the. I'm not a huge fan of the
voices.
No, I'm just like Star Fox 64. Just to me, just feels very. It feels like, okay, here's a remix of the original Star Fox. And it's like, you have all this technology. Why are you just giving me a remix of the original Star Fox? This should have been completely different. And it's just it's a remix with none of the charm. Because the original Star Fox, yes, I know graphically doesn't look as good as 64. But the original Star Fox had, in my opinion, better music. It didn't try and explain everything, which I liked. And to me, it was just more straightforward. Like, Star Fox 64 almost tries too hard to, be, look at all this stuff we can do. And I know it, like, Star Fox has always been a showcase game for, Nintendo's hardware. Like F-Zero. F-Zero is a showcase game for Nintendo's hardware.
And people keep crying for it too, by the way.
Well, I mean, it would be cool to do it, but I mean, they're not going to do it because it doesn't make sense to do a showcase game for the Switch, because the Switch. I mean, I don't know if people understand this. The Switch does not have a lot of power in the conventional sense of a console. It's like, I don't even think in terms of just straight up power, it's as powerful as, say, the Wii U.
And people are gonna gasp hearing that line.
Because I mean, the Switch. I mean, I've been playing Xenoblade Chronicles 2, and that game has some issues on.
Xenoblade 2 has issues with draw distance and frames because of all the pixel splash.
Well, even loading stuff. It's ridiculous. I'm like, damn, dude. Like, what the hell?
I can only imagine how bad it would be if it was trying to do Xenoblade X.
Yeah. So I mean,
the Microsoft question.
No, we were talking about Star Fox Zero. And I was just saying how Star Fox Zero to me just isn't that interesting of a game.
I agree with him on that.
Or Star Fox 64. I know a lot of people love Star Fox 64.
So if anything, I'd go against him on 64 since it was my first Star Fox game, and even though I tried to go back to Star Fox 1.
You couldn't do it because the first one was Star Fox 64. I get that. I'm just saying, like, everyone has their Star Fox. Like, the original Star Fox for me is my favorite because I like the music. I like to me that had some of the best music in the series. And they still haven't really gotten better than that in terms of the music for a Star Fox game, in my opinion. It just to me, because I mean, here's the thing: Star Fox 64 tries to go all orchestrated and stuff, whereas to me, Star Fox it's a rail shooter. It's a 3D rail shooter in the vein of Super R-Type or Gradius or Twinbee or something like that. It's not supposed to be this heady experience with all this junk, which is where they kind of messed up Star Fox 64 for me. They try too hard to make it into this deep experience or whatnot. So,
well, I mean, the Star Fox, the original gameplay elements of Star Fox isn't as innovative as Nintendo's other IPs, and according to Emily Rogers, it's the only reason why Star Fox is a popular IP because it's always equipped with a gimmick that's part of its system. Like the original, it's the Super FX chip for 64. It's the Rumble Pack.
Well, I mean, it's like I just said. Star Fox is always a
tech demo for a certain powerful system, isn't it?
Yeah, it's supposed to show how powerful the system is, right? That's what it's supposed to do. It's not like Star Fox games aren't like, oh my god, this is so innovative. Like this is changed it up. And I mean, like what I was saying with the Switch is that the Switch isn't like in conventional sense, it's not that powerful for what it's capable to do. And its form factor and stuff like that, it's powerful. But when you really compare it to the Wii U, it's like the Switch struggles with stuff that the Wii U probably could have done very easily. So, but that was that question. Let's move on to the next question. And this is a deep one now. Can Microsoft pull themselves out of the hole? How? Be specific. Who wants to tackle this one first?
Big no.
Well, be specific.
I say they're at a 20% chance, and they really need to focus on how they're gonna get games out there that are exclusive to the system, and not jumping into the PC as well. Because let's face it, if you're doing PC and the system, there's a chance that you're not gonna get as much with the PC. With it going to console as it's going to go to PC.
Fair enough.
But as I said, 20% chance. And I'm being generous with that number.
So Pinky Don has hell no, or as we say here in the South, hell to the no. So so I guess it's my turn. I'm gonna say a yes and a no. I'll give you the yes answer first. Microsoft can, but they're gonna have to make some changes, and I'm not sure they want to do that. So allow me to elaborate. Basically, bowing to reality, Microsoft at this point, in order for them to get their stuff together, they're going to have to do some things that they don't really want to do. Okay, they're going to have to either buy some studios or put some major money into their own first-party studios. The problem is that the Microsoft Xbox division is on a
budget now.
They're on a major budget now. The only way I can see them putting money into their own studios is if they're going to have to also put these games out on PC, because Xbox first-party games aren't making money off of them. They aren't selling enough to make money off of them. So they have to have those two platforms, okay? It's not like with Nintendo, where Nintendo's making money off the Switch, they're making money off the 3DS. Either way, they're making money. They're making more money off the 3DS because 3DS is a bigger install base. But you get what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Like the Switch, the Xbox doesn't have that luxury. Like, luckily the Xbox only accounts for 1% of the revenue generated by Microsoft. So even though it's losing money, it's not like, oh my God, like it's not like they need the Xbox. It's not like Sony, where Sony needs the PS, the PlayStation, just for brand recognition and the amount of money it's bringing in. It's not bringing in a lot of money, but it's bringing in enough that, it's bringing in enough money that they have to do something with it. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's not that way. Like it's not that way with Sony. Like Sony actually, Sony needs their PlayStation division. Microsoft doesn't need the Xbox division. But if they want it to become successful, they're going to have to put more money into first-party games. The problem is that Microsoft cut back a lot of their stuff in order to get the Xbox One X out, which isn't helping them at all because it's just not helping. So what I think you're going to see happen is with the yes answer is the Xbox One X is going to be their last console, and they're just going to put out new iterations of that for a little bit, and all of their first party games. I'm using air quotes when I say first party. I don't have the camera on, but first party games exclusives are also going to be on PC. And the Xbox is going to become a virtual platform where it's like a virtual Xbox where, you buy the games. If you have a physical Xbox, you can play it on that. If you have a PC that can run the game, you can play it on that. Like, that's going to be the future of the Xbox thing. That was my yes answer. My no answer is why. Microsoft has no reason to put money into that dead, dying horse that is the Xbox division.
So let's see. We got a yes and a no. We got yes no, and I'm 20. And I'm 20%.
They have no reason to put money into it. It's like, why? Like it's not making them a lot of money. Why put more money into it? And here's the thing: even if they do put money into first-party games, it takes at least 18 months to 2 years to put out a solid game.
And that's days. If they put some care into it.
Well, even if it's like no care, it takes 18 months to 2 years to put out a solid game for one console, right? For one console, and that's just for the average Joe Blow Sony PlayStation. Like now, it's more. Do you even if Microsoft got on that this year, you're not going to see those games for another 2 years at the most. Those games. Like, seriously, if you own an Xbox One at this point, you're not going to play those games on an Xbox One unless you have a gaming PC. And that's the only, that's your only chance, really, to play these games, because they're never going to be, Microsoft is never going to be that company, like, that's going to, make the world shine or some junk like that, whatever you people believe. I don't know. But yeah, answered that question. Let's move on to the next one. What is your guilty pleasure game? Why?
Ooh.
That's a tough question.
A guilty pleasure game is a game that you know is trash, but you play it anyway, despite how garbage it is. You just you like it.
This is probably my weirdest one in a sense. WarioWare DIY.
All right.
Because let's face it, you're trying to make your own game, and it just bugs you when you're trying to do it just right, and then you see it screw up all over the place.
Right.
The game is actually well received because of the DIY.
I know, but I mean, some of the DIY games that have been put up there. Oh boy.
They don't do it for you.
This makes me wonder, are people taking this seriously, as in, are they really learning how to make the games?
So that's your guilty pleasure game, WarioWare.
Yeah, because some of these games are well made and created well, while others.
Whereas I've seen some 18 plus micro games for DIY.
Yeah, but if anything, I'm going to say this, that I have to admit that some of these things, it's like trying to fix a car when you're trying to repair the game yourself.
Yeah, I can understand that. So that's your WarioWare. What's your guilty pleasure game? Like a game that you know is just like you know, it might not be very good, but just for some reason you just like it. You're like, this game is garbage, but I can't stop coming back to it.
The other one I got would be for the GameCube, and probably one that some people might hate. Sonic Heroes.
Speaking of Sonic Heroes, I heard a rumor that it's getting a remake this year, and it's gonna be coming out on the PS4 first in the summer, then on the Switch and Xbox One and PC later in the fall.
I have a question. Why do they keep on messing up like that?
Sega.
Oh,
why?
I just answered it. Yeah, it's Sega. That's what they do.
So seriously, Sonic Heroes is pretty much a good game, but let's just be honest. Some of the things that you have to do on those, it's pretty out there at times.
I mean, to tell you the truth, I like Sonic Heroes. I think it actually moved the formula a little bit further. Was it so many? Oh my God, I'm running away from a whale again. Going on, but I mean, you know. My guilty pleasure game is any Bethesda game.
I always call people out on people loving Bethesda games, because seriously, you guys buy broken beep that always needs to get repaired under a year's time.
I mean, it's trash. Bethesda games are trash. They are total and complete trash. But for some reason,
you love those train wrecks.
I just really like playing them. For some odd reason, like especially if I can mod it. Like I like Fallout 3, Fallout New Vegas. I like Elder Scrolls.
You are a Bethesda fan.
No, it's like I'm not one of those people who's like, man, this game is a masterpiece. I know it's trash. I'm like, this game is
I was saying
garbage.
you're a Bethesda fan, as in you You love seeing how much of a train wreck those games could be.
No, I like modding. Like that's the thing. I like modding the game. Like I like mods. I like being able to mod a game, but I don't like Bethesda games in the classical sense. You know, like I don't.
Ah. That makes sense.
Like I don't like Bethesda games in the classical
You like the alteration of Bethesda games.
Like I like the open world. I like being able to mod it and add new stuff to it and play the game. I don't like the games themselves. Like Fallout 4 is trash, but the mods for it are fun as hell to me. Like Elder Scrolls 6, Skyrim. Skyrim is not a good game, but the mods for it make it into a more fun experience. Like Breath of the Wild, I like Breath of the Wild, but I wish that Nintendo allowed modding because there's some mods for the hacked version where like you can put CJ into it and Sonic the Hedgehog. I'm like, that'd be
There's
awesome.
some things that just blow your brains out.
That would just be hilarious to play a Breath of the Wild with, instead of Link, you had CJ from San Andreas. That'd be hilarious. Because I mean,
as I said, that's a mind blower right there.
I mean, technically speaking, Breath of the Wild has more in common with GTA than it does with the Legend of Zelda game. Because think about it, you go around taking out enemies from turf, and you know they have gangs of them roving around, and Link can go around in a drive-by shooting people. Except it's not a drive-by; it's a ride-by. He's on a horse. I mean,
or
it's very
motorcycle.
Yeah, and they keep on coming back. I mean, it's very like Breath of the Wild is the most least Legend of Zelda game I've ever seen. And I mean for some people that's a good thing. For me, I'm like, that's not really doing it for me. But
I wasn't interested in that in the slightest, in a big sense. And that's the game, and that's the transition game.
I'm just saying. But that's just my own little personal thing. I'm not a huge.
Yeah. I mean, with me as a 3D fan, I'm not a fan of this Legend of Zelda style at all.
I mean, like I said, Breath of the Wild is not my favorite Legend of Zelda game. I know some people are going to get mad. They're going to be like, "How dare you? How dare you, sir?"
I probably get it more than you because my new one is the Legend of Zelda Link Between Worlds. Yeah, you can send all the salt to me. I'll suck it up better than Kirby.
Guess it's my turn.
I like Link Between Worlds. So, what's your guilty pleasure?
Let's see. I got a couple. First is Nicktoons Racing for the PC.
She's like, what the fuck? Just joking. Hey man, you do you. You do.
I'm sorry, but
don't call anything up, man.
That kind of racing game. I mean, that kind of game is something that I actually see in the bargain bins first.
Don't cough anything up now. Don't make yourself sick.
The second guilty pleasure game is another PC game, which is Trespasser, which is a Jurassic Park first-person shooter game that pretty much inspired the physics engine for the Half-Life 2 games.
The first one I coughed because that's a game that I would see in the bargain bins first. The second one I never heard of.
Oh, it basically fell into obscurity, but its legacy it left a legacy upon other PC games made after it.
All right.
And the third game is probably Universal Studios Theme Park Adventure. You've probably not heard of it either. It's basically. I know that the AVGN did a review on it.
That game that he's like, this game is terrible. It's a piece of shit. Well, I mean, that's every AVGN review, just him saying this game is a piece of shit. Like that's what he does. That's his thing. He's like, it's a piece of shit.
He was basically doing his 12 days of Christmas episode where 12 episodes of reviewing video games that he unwraps, and one of them happens to be a Universal Studios game, and which involves mini games based off of like attractions at the time. And the only way to gain points is by collecting trash, finding letters, and hugging characters such as the Universal Monsters and Woody Woodpecker and E.T.
Fair enough. So I guess it's I guess it's time to move on to the next question. And we have some comments here from Metal Mint. I feel a lot of people who want online multiplayer in Star Fox Zero would have played it for a day and moved on. I can see why Platinum didn't waste their time on it. That's why I think online co-op was bullshit. Because I mean, like, who can, like most people who play a Star Fox style game just want to play the single player. So who cares about the co-op? I mean, I think that was a waste of resources to put co-op in there.
If co-op was allowing you to play the single player all together, I would have been happy. Or at least had some curiosity of it. But considering that it's the barrel roll and evasion game.
Yeah, or if they had like if Star Fox Zero had you basically, if the story had been different and it hadn't just been another fucking retelling of the Star Fox story where you have to wind up fighting Andross. I was about to say
Star Fox 64 story, mind you.
Well, I mean, the Star Fox 64 story is just a redo of the original Star Fox for the SNES, so that's why I'm like I'm not really impressed with Star Fox 64 because it's the same story. Except here's the thing, they added, oh, and by the way, Andross killed your father. Thanks a lot. I already kind of figured that one out. I was like, when I was playing Star Fox with SNES, I was like, yeah, Andross, you must die because you killed my father, because Star Fox is a ripoff of Star Wars. But that's neither here nor there. Like, wouldn't it have been cool instead of that, like, you get your ass kicked out of like the solar system where Star Fox and Corneria and all that stuff is. You have to go to another solar system and recruit new ships, new allies, and you could play through. The co-op was maybe someone plays on the gamepad and another person plays on the screen. So you have like two different experiences, like two different ships going through the level. That would have been cool, but no. Let's play co-op where someone. It was just
where
not.
One controls the ship and the one controls the gun.
Yeah, that was kind of stupid to me. So that's just me. This is a small thing in the grand scheme, but I think Xbox is missing that massive single-player game like Zelda and Mario. They become way too multiplayer focused. You're right, and it didn't help that Phil Spencer was like, "We don't think those type of games sell anymore." For you, because you don't have them. That's like someone saying, "Man."
And Xbox had the chance to try to work with RPGs.
Well, I mean, here's the thing. Certain the audience that Microsoft built doesn't like. They're
gun gamers.
Yeah, they like first-person shooters. That's their thing. So the dude bro audience, as I call them, and unfortunately, that's the audience they built for themselves. It's their fault. They built the dude bro audience. They got to live with it. I don't like dude bro games, so I don't know what to say.
And considering the only other option that you got is Sony, that's kind of limiting your choices.
Well, even then, most of the games I really want to play are also on, like, Ni no Kuni 2. I'm totally looking forward to that game. That comes out this year. Like, I don't need to buy a PlayStation 4 to play that game. So, I mean, who cares? Like, I'll just wait and get it on my PC. So, I mean, that's it. Let's get to the second question. Sorry, the next question, because there's more than two. Let's see. What popular franchise needs to die so another might live? Why? What? And how? Who wants to take this one first?
World of Warcraft to at least see other MMORPGs at least try to stand up.
Damn.
And I know I just went with the biggest wall in the room.
Damn. That's hard. That's harsh. That's really, really harsh.
Maybe, but then again, my other option would have been Overwatch.
Or in Arlo's case, the Mario and Luigi RPG series in favor of Paper Mario. Of course, I don't agree with this. Of course, I don't agree with him because both have to live.
I think those both have a valid
reason to be around.
Yeah, I think Paper Mario is good for certain things, and I think that
Mario and Luigi
are good for certain things. I wish that I'm going to be that guy. I still think that Paper Mario should be more. We should get more like Thousand Year Door and less like
Sticker Star.
Yeah. But that's just my own little personal preference because I don't like Sticker Star. And Super Paper Mario was on the right track, but they still kind of messed up a little bit. That's just my own little personal opinion. I know some people are going to get mad because people are always getting angry, but I don't really care. But that's just me.
Now, for my real answer to this question, I'll probably this one's a tough one because there's some other popular franchises that I like to see them die. Probably
it needs to die so that some other thing can live. I didn't answer it yet. I was just saying.
Remember, I actually swung for the biggest wall, so so don't be scared.
Probably Street Fighter for Darkstalkers or Final Fantasy for Dragon Quest.
All right. Okay, that's fair.
Final Fantasy, Dragon Quest, I actually had to wonder why, but Street Fighter for Darkstalkers, I agree.
No, I agree with both of those. I think that, I'm not going to say Darkstalkers. I think any other 2D Capcom fighter, because there's a lot of them.
I would have even went with Rival Schools.
Yeah, it just not that Street Fighter needs to die, but it just, not like permanently go away, but just give another franchise a chance, please. Because Street Fighter needs a break. It needs a break. It needs, give someone else a shot at, beating up enemies and junk. So.
And while they're at it, reboot the entire story so we don't have to go into this complicated reason as to why certain characters didn't make it into the roster.
I could see that. Or at least just totally ignore it and just make it about fun. I know that's a hard one, but I know that's kind of difficult these days because everyone wants everything to be part of a universe. But so that's, I guess it's my turn. And with Dragon Quest and Final Fantasy, you're right. Final Fantasy needs to go away for about 5 years so that some other IPs can grow. Because Final Fantasy has been run into the ground.
But hasn't there been a 5-year gap between the major Final Fantasy releases?
Yeah, but they keep on re-releasing, doing re-releases of the old shit, and so it's like it can't go away. It's kind of like, okay, like I remember when you had to wait years between new Star Wars stuff. Like you had to wait years. Like it took 3 years between each Star Wars iteration, and that made you care more when it came out. Now we're basically getting Star Wars every damn year, and it's kind of getting old. You know what I mean? It's like, God damn, why don't you go away so I can miss you? You know. And I know some people would say, but you like Marvel and you get a new Marvel almost every year. Yeah, but they're different. It's not like there's different shit going on in this universe. It feels like in Star Wars, it's still like, oh man, it's the Empire, it's the Rebels. It's like there's other stories to be told in this fucking universe, bro. But that's just me. I don't know where can I go from here? I don't know. But yeah, that's who I think should die. Oh, I didn't tell you who I think should die. So that some other may live. I don't know.
Probably Hitman for Chrono Trigger.
Nah, no, I'm going with what franchise needs to die so that other. Okay, I got one. Madden needs to die so that we can get the arcadey style sports games from EA back in the day. We can get NFL Street. We can get Mutant League Football. We can get stuff like that because I'm tired of.
Madden's
I'm tired of
screwing things up.
Well, I'm tired of sports sims. I want to play something that doesn't involve people buying tons and tons of loot boxes and trading cards of real players who I don't give a shit about. I want to play. I want to play something that's arcadey and fun. And I know that's a hard thing for some people to understand because everything has to be. It's like I'm really in the game, bro. I don't care. Okay. Because I played football when I was in high school, and it's okay. I mean, I'm not like I didn't hate it, but I mean, I'd rather do something different with my time. You know what I mean?
Right. So now that's all the way. We can move on to the next question. Who is the most influential person in gaming to you, and why? Ooh, this one's easy. Shigeru Miyamoto.
Oh man, Shiggy. I was gonna go with someone who wasn't Nintendo affiliated, but go ahead. Cause it's easy to go with Nintendo.
Yeah.
It's almost too easy to go with Nintendo. You know what I mean? It's like.
Ditto, but if anything, I'd still do it.
All right. So who are you gonna go with, Jewel?
Rest in peace, Iwata.
Damn, everyone's going with Nintendo. Okay, I guess it's my turn.
As I said, I'd still do it.
I'm gonna say who the number one most influential person in gaming is for me. And it's not Shigeru Miyamoto or Satoru Iwata, even though look, they're awesome, but they're not the most influential to me.
Is it Warren Spector?
No. Even though I like Warren Spector, he's not. The dude for me is Gerald Anderson, Jerry Lawson. He's the African American engineer who created the cartridge. He created solid state memory.
Oh yeah, that guy.
And which enabled video gaming to become what it is today. Because this guy created cartridges. So, and we're like Nintendo brought that shit back with the Switch and the 3DS. Well, it never left with their handhelds, but with the Switch. So yeah, cartridges have returned, and all thanks to this guy who developed a storage medium that enabled people to have almost instantaneous loading of data in a console, which is friggin' brilliant. And it wasn't just him; it was a team of engineers at Fairchild. But still, that's just really friggin' intelligent. So, But yeah, that's my number one most influential guy, because it's too easy to go with someone from Nintendo. It's just too damn easy. And I like to do things a little bit more circumspect, because it's like you'd expect. And notice I didn't say that piece of shit Nolan Bushnell or
or Ralph Baer.
Or Ralph. I mean, I like Ralph Baer, but because he did the Intellivision, which I like. But
oh yeah, and also no Hideo Kojima or David Cage. Those two are obviously.
Well, first of all, those two are fucking posers. Especially Hideo Kojima, that piece of shit. Yeah, I don't like Hideo Kojima. So I guess it's time to get to the last question. I believe this is the last question.
Actually, it's the second to last question.
Second to last question. What game do you hate but you have to admit is good? Like, it's a game that you're like, man, fuck this game, but like you can't say it's not good.
Oh, yeah. I'm gonna roll last this round.
That's either gonna have to be Dark Souls because of how hard the game is, but you gotta admit how good it is mechanically. Of course, I have yet to play the game, so I had to pick another game. So I guess that will be. I'll let you guys pick your games while I
Joel, you want to tackle this first?
I'm gonna regret my choice because I even remember how hard it was. DK, Donkey Kong is here. Donkey Kong 64. I really hated it because of all those times I had to look around for those beeping bananas, those beeping blueprints, and some of those beeping battles.
I could understand that.
At least you didn't have to get them all for the ending. But still.
No, you did. You had to get all of those for the ending. You had to get all that stuff for the ending.
You have to get you don't need all the bananas for the ending.
If you want to get the special ending, yeah. All 200,
which is just bloopers.
All 201, yeah. Well, yeah, but still, if you want to get everything, you got to get all 201 bananas, which is some bullshit. But look, I'm not saying that the game doesn't have its issues. I'm just saying that I like it.
It's a quality game from Rare. The one game company that could rival Nintendo back then with Banjo-Kazooie and Diddy Kong Racing.
I mean, I can't, like, here's the thing. I agree with you. I have a little, I feel a little bit differently about it, but I can understand where you're coming from. So here's a game that, I mean, I think it's like, I hate it, but I have to admit that it is good. And it's Spyro the Dragon 2.
Okay, I'm gonna say How the Moon because I played at least all three of the original Spyro series, and it wasn't that bad, but really?
Yeah, I like, here's the thing. I don't really like most of Sony's IPs. I consider them to be kind of garbage these days. But I have to admit, Spyro the Dragon is just kind of fun. I mean, I hate it, but it's like, damn.
I was about to say, Sony one. Sony one is a little different.
Now I remember the one game I hate, but I have to admit it's pretty good. The original Crash Bandicoot.
Yeah, I can't. I can't roll with that one.
Are you serious? Crash 3.
Well, because it got better over time, but I can understand where you're coming from. This is your opinion, so you're allowed to have it. So
yeah. I would have taken you in with Crash 3, but 2 and 1 Are you sure you're not on some shrooms?
So let's get to the last question. But before we do, we have some comments from Metal Men. I think the easy choice would be Madden, so other companies can make NFL games. At this point, I
think you covered that one easy.
It's not even the NFL games. It's just I just want to see something different. Yeah, it's like I'm tired of sports sims. Because if I want to play basketball, I'll just take my ass outside and play basketball. It's not.
I mean, give us some 3-on-3 multiplayer powered up Super Saiyan basketball.
Yeah, I mean, I want to play arcadey stuff. Like, because if I want to play football,
weird Ikazuga 11 soccer.
Yeah, if I want to play football, if I want to play basketball, like one of the best football games I've played was iShield 91 for the Wii. I imported it, and it's a bitch because it's got a lot of Japanese, and it's basically a football RPG, but it's fun, and it's ridiculous because like when you're about to get tackled, it goes into like an RPG like battle where you can choose special abilities and junk to get out of the tackle to break the guy so that he can't tackle you. And it's fun and it's different and it's not just the same shit over and over again, and I love it. It's a total work of fiction because the main character is a Japanese kid who eventually gets recruited to go to Harvard and play football, which is that's such a work of fiction. But
I was about to say that's as much fiction as what happens in real life at times. That it can happen, but you got some slim chances.
No, that's a work of fiction. It's like the Japanese basketball team beat the American basketball team at the Olympics.
At least they medal.
Sorry.
As I said, at least they medal.
But I mean, but that's neither here nor there. But yeah, so yeah, that's my game that I hate, but I have to admit it's kind of fun. Another one's Katamari Damacy.
Damacy?
Yeah, Katamari Damacy is just that game was done by someone who was smoking a lot of weed.
Yeah, somebody was on some serious shrooms then.
Not to mention that the game's creator bashed Nintendo and the Wii U for trying to be innovative or creative.
He's just mad because he didn't put a Katamari game on the Wii because it probably would have sold really well. But that's on him. That's his dumbass. But anyway, it's a really
nice one.
It's a really, really like clearly the person who came up with this was.
It's like somebody was so high that they were programming without even looking.
Yeah, he was smoking a lot of weed when he came up with this because you got to be high to come up with this. Like people on air don't come up with Katamari Damacy. Okay?
And I haven't gotten past the original
stuff too.
Even after all these years because I'm stuck in this one level.
People on air don't come up with Katamari Damacy. People who just, people who just drink water and breathe air don't come up with Katamari Damacy. You have to be high. There's a lot of games. Like I remember when I was in Gamers at Large, there's this guy who's like, man, they don't smoke weed in Japan. I'm like, look at some of these damn games they have in Japan.
I was going to say,
high in order to come up with
if that person is still around, I have to ask, do they think that they're still not high when they come up with games like that?
You have to be high to come up with this shit.
You gotta be kite flying for that stuff.
And I'll tell you, someone who I know is high. Suda 51. I know that dude's got to be smoking some weed the way the shit he comes up with. But that's neither here nor there. Let's get to our last question, which is what crappy handheld or system do you love and why?
I've never owned a cruddy system or a handheld in my lifetime.
Really? No Vitas, no PSPs.
Oh, wait, but
I got a pair, but I'm gonna let you guys run through yours.
Okay. So here's a crappy handheld and a crappy system that I love. The Virtual Boy. Yeah. The Virtual Boy is a system that is considered widely by everyone to be a piece of garbage, but for some reason, I like it. And I have like 3 of the best games for it. So that's all. That's all I'm gonna say. Those are like some of my favorite games for the system. Yeah. And as far as a handheld goes, I have a Game Boy Micro. And it's a piece of shit, really. It's not very good, but I like it. It's just one of those things. It's like, it's not good for anybody, but I like it. But then again, I have a collection of Game Boys, so, you know.
And for you, Jewel?
As I said, I got 2. And you could probably have a good laugh at either of them.
Is it the Neo Geo?
No.
Neo Geo is not a bad system, though. It's just, it was poorly marketed, but it's not a bad
I was about to say, marketed is underrated. That was overshot. Have you ever heard of the Tiger VR system?
Yes, I have.
The thing that has cartridges that you can insert and have an eyepiece over one of your eyes to play the game.
Yeah,
I've never heard about the Tiger VR.
Oh, it's a piece of
Tiger
shit. It's a steaming pile of garbage.
I got Virtual Fighter for that.
Oh, poor you. Poor you.
Trust me, it's a out there game. And good luck trying to see if you can even do a combo with that system. The other one, well, you guys probably remember it if I said it incorrectly. Games.com.
Oh, the Game.com, yeah. You had that? Ugh.
Yes.
So terrible. The Game.com. Ugh. Well, I mean, that could have been worse. It could have had the Engage. The Engage. The Engage.
As I said it incorrectly because I know you guys will correct me right on the spot and know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, the Game.com was like I thought I'd seen some shit back in the day, but the Game.com.
I was going to say between the Tiger VR and the Gamescom, I was in pretty much. I had my own weird piece of Hades in video game form.
You had all the shit. It was weird. But I mean, look, as long as you
I didn't hold the trifecta. I didn't hold the Triforce. I was missing the piece.
You didn't have the Engage. That was the problem. You missed the Engage.
Yeah, if I had the Engage, it would be the Triforce.
Not the Engage. Sorry, the Engage. Yeah. I mean, I could understand it. I'm not gonna knock it.
Yeah, reason why I said I had 2. Because both of them I'm glad I only got 1 game each for those. But still.
They were pretty damn bad, yeah. Yeah, I mean, like I said, the Virtual Boy is my console. It's the everyone's like, man, the Switch. I mean, the Wii U is Nintendo's greatest failure. No,
that would be
the Virtual Boy. Yeah, the Virtual Boy was their greatest failure. The Virtual Boy was
that thing didn't even last a full year, as far as I know.
No, it didn't. It lasted about
4 months. Was it?
About 8 months, because they did a soft launch first, and then they launched it in more markets, and it didn't do shit, and that was the end. Like, we're done. They're like, yeah, we're done now. Bye.
Yeah, and I recently saw a video saying that the Wii U was a failure as far as Nintendo considers it. But at least if anything, it's great. It's great now that the games are getting cheaper as beep.
Yeah, people always say that the Wii U was a failure. I'm like, the Wii U made money, and it wasn't like it didn't sell as well compared to its competitor. Like compared to the Wii, yes, it underperformed like all hell. But it wasn't like the Virtual Boy. The Virtual Boy was a total incomplete.
Yeah, and when you compare it to the other competitors that were of the time, they were still in the red.
So,
as far as I remember, no, Nintendo was making the money, but they were in the red because they made a new house for themselves.
Well, and plus it was a new console, and I mean, like, new console, new development. They had to basically take that loss in order to make sure that so they didn't have a lot of shelf space. Plus they were hiring people, building new shit. I mean, they used some of that massive amount of
that was a red that hit them into the red, but if anything, it still made them green because when you take that, because we all know that if you're building, you go into the red, and when you're selling things or making things, you go into the green. And last I checked, Sony subtracted buildings from their lineup to try to make green.
But I mean, I'm just saying that I personally like the Wii U. It's a great console. Now is the time to get games that you didn't get before, because now you can get them cheap if you want it. I mean,
well, so far there's only been 5 Wii U games that have been ported onto the Switch.
There'll probably be more. Just wait on it. Just wait.
I was gonna say the Bayonetta games. I think that'd be 2. Mario Kart 8, Pokken, Donkey Kong
Warriors,
and Hyrule Warriors.
Well, I wouldn't count the first Bayonetta one, since that started out
in Japan. In Japan, it's gonna be if you get the $60 game, you get Bayonetta 1 and 2. So you're getting both of them, which is really smart. Like, here's the thing: Bayonetta isn't a IP that has been traditionally associated with the Nintendo. Like Bayonetta originally came out for the PS3 and the Xbox 360. So it makes sense if you're gonna sell a new console, you have to have. I mean, if you're gonna put it on a new system, it makes sense to have the old game so that you can play that too. And plus, you get all the content from the Wii U version with like the different outfits and stuff. That's a pretty good deal. $60, you get all that extra stuff. It's fair. But but yeah, now is a good time to buy that stuff. So yeah, those are my. So anything you guys want to pimp out before we wrap things up?
Oh yes, it's been confirmed that A Hat in Time is not coming to Switch.
Okay.
and you won't believe what the excuse is.
No, what? What's the excuse?
Let me try this one. The control system and the technology of the system has been unacquainted with our vision of the game, so we have to decline that it will come to the Switch.
Because it's difficult to port.
How is it difficult to port? I don't get that.
And here's the full description. It's not feasible for all games to be on every console, and developers are often restricted by financial or otherwise limitations that makes porting not an option despite the improved accessibility to multi-platform engines and software.
They could have done it to the Wii U, and I could hear that a mile away.
So they just don't. So they just don't want to do it. I mean, look, that's their prerogative. I mean,
at least be honest about it.
Well,
But there's a problem. Ukulele was ported onto the Switch, and the Hat in Time has pretty much the same graphical fidelity as Ukulele. So there should be no excuse for it to not be ported onto the Switch. Especially of how indie friendly the Switch is compared to the PS4 and Xbox One.
Mm-hmm.
Not to mention there have been Unreal Engine 3 games on the Switch. And let's see if that's the only gaming news.
If anybody's keeping up with Bungie, they're gonna be some salt flying soon, or at least it's flying now.
Oh yeah, Sega's proclaiming that Sonic Forces is performing strongly, quote unquote, even though they haven't shown the actual data.
According to who?
To Sega.
No, okay, well, I mean,
here's the thing. I just know. I remember I found out that I'm getting that beep of a game because I wanted Sonic Mania, and my family went with Forces.
Damn.
Yeah.
Well, here's what I'll say about Sonic Forces. It's not a very Sonic Forces probably did perform better, but they knew it was trash, so they were probably like if anyone bought this trash, I think it sold maybe 500,000, and I think you could tell that game was made on a budget because you can beat it in I think the record is like 40 minutes. Someone beat Sonic Forces in 40 minutes. So you can tell they didn't put a lot of resources.
They were Sonic speeding. Dang.
Well, they just didn't put a lot of resources into it. So
also, Capcom Vancouver has laid off a lot of employees due to a Dead Rising game being canceled.
Really, all those Dead Risings they put on the Xbox One didn't pan out for.
Ouch! I thought it would be Street Fighter V and Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite that would do it.
It was an unannounced Dead Rising game that clearly got canceled and caused a layoff in Capcom Vancouver.
Ouch.
I mean,
let's see. Anything else?
I might as well finish the announcement that I mentioned earlier. If you guys hated Destiny 2, then this would really be a kicker because the forums for Bungie have been closed off unless you got Destiny 2.
Makes sense.
And played into a certain section, while other sections of the game, other system has you having their own Destiny 2. And the only thing that is free roaming is the help section.
Yeah, the one section that really should require you to own the game is the one section that you don't need to own the game.
Yeah, but here's the thing: they made off topic that too.
Yeah. I mean, clearly this is all because Destiny has been losing subscribers because of Bungie's bullshit. But I don't think it's Bungie that did this. It's Activision that told them to do this.
The European Splatfest results have been shown. It's a
sweep.
You prefer pickles or no pickles on your burgers? And
as I said, I bet you it's a sweep.
Yeah, it's a sweep on without pickles.
I can understand it. I mean, most of the pickles, especially fast food burgers, the pickles on fast food burgers taste like garbage. They're too salty.
To me, I actually don't mind them. They're not that bad, and they give some salt to some other flavorless burger at times.
I have a complete distaste for pickles.
Well, if the pickles are done well, like a good dill pickle, can kind of, if you're eating something that's really greasy, can kind of cut through the grease because of the vinegar and the sourness can help, and the acid can help cut through the greasy flavor. But I mean, the pickles you get
need
like
the right pickle.
Yeah, the pickles you get on McDonald's and Burger King burgers are just like little salty, sour pucks that just.
Oh, I never tried a burger in McDonald's nor Burger King.
Now,
Smart man.
I mean, I'm the one that's done it before.
Stay away from them because they're disgusting. Basically,
they're not bad, but they're not that good either to me. So I'm 50-50.
Here's what I'll say about burgers. If you can find a good burger joint around you that makes their own burgers fresh, that's a good choice. Or make your own damn burgers at home. That's even better. I
would go for the full idea of a burger or like a restaurant, but I usually don't get. I'm not able to get the pickle slices.
No, I just make my own burgers. It's much better.
Continuing on the Splatfest 2 news, the Pearl and Marina amiibos have been announced.
Yeah, I saw them. They look cool.
Yeah,
I still have yet to complete. And I still have to get the purple squid amiibo. I only got the squid girl.
I haven't got Kelly or Marie for that, and now those two. Oh boy.
Well, I got the Squid Sisters.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, and Mario Odyssey devs the Mario Odyssey producer says that they're open for DLC.
The only way I'd be concerned with DLC in Mario Odyssey is if they add Luigi as a playable character. That's it. Like, unless they're adding Luigi as a playable character, I don't care.
Because they had Luigi get into the game, but he's a event host.
Yeah, which is kind of like, I'm like, why can't Luigi be a playable character? Like,
I just want a Peach DLC.
Yeah, I'm sure you do. But yeah, I think it would be cool to have Luigi. I mean, hell, they could do the whole thing. They could bring back the characters from Mario 3D World as playable characters as DLC.
That would be the real star shot.
Because all you have to do is just give them that hat and they're good. You know, just have
Luigi has a cap. Toad, I'm not sure if that's his head.
You could give him a hat. I mean, hell, you could just give him a hat. You could have Captain Toad. He has a hat. You could have
Peach has her tiara, of course.
Peach has her tiara, and Rosalina has her tiara. So her crown. Actually, she has a crown. She has a crown. So I mean, it works out. You know, everyone has a hat, and then you could have them play, and they could each play a little bit differently from each other, but you can still, complete what you need to complete, and that could totally work.
Oh, and while A Hat in Time is not coming to Switch, Hello Neighbor is.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Hello Neighbor, that deaf to thy neighbor game.
Yep.
Let me put it this way. I have Hat in Time on PC. It's not terrible, but it's not like everyone's like, this is one of the best. Well, it's not terrible, but it's not like, I'm gonna keep it real. I think Yooka-Laylee is better.
I was gonna say, considering Banjo-Kazooie lovers, that's a bit of a stretch, but I could get you.
Hello Neighbor has been through many revisions in its alpha and beta stages.
I think Yooka-Laylee is better, especially now that it's like in version 2.0 where they've added like some more modern conventions for a modern 3D platformer, but that's just me. But then again, that could be the nostalgia talking because I like rare style platformers, and Yooka-Laylee is totally a rare style platformer, more so than anything else. But that's just me. Who wants to go next?
And that we didn't have our Banjo 3E.
Yeah, and no, Banjo Nuts and Bolts is not Banjo 3E. Now all we need to do.
Thinks that.
Now all we need to do is get Conker's Bad Fur Day style M-rated game from the Yooka-Laylee people, and then we'll be good because Microsoft ain't gonna do shit with it. So.
And then there's Amazon Mexico listing South Park Fractured But Whole coming to Switch, even though the stick of but the thing is I'm waiting for the stick of, if that's coming out, then so should the stick of truth, because I want to go in order since a Fractured But Whole takes place right now.
No, you don't want to go in order. The stick of truth is really, really primitive compared to
Fractured But Whole.
Yeah, it's like it's really hard to. It's got a lot of stuff that's missing. It's not as polished as Fractured But Whole. The humor is a lot more irreverent, but it's not like they're games in a series. You know what I mean?
Right.
So if you don't play Stick of Truth, you're not really missing anything. Except there may be a few characters where you're like, hey, what the hell happened to that guy? And they're like, well, this happened in Stick of Truth, but you're not going to really be missing anything if you don't have it. But that's just, if you absolutely have to play. But here's the thing. It's cool if Ubisoft wants to bring those games over. If they're charging $60 for Fractured But Whole, no. That's not a $60 game.
And and the second wave of DLC for Fire Emblem Warriors is coming this week.
Okay.
Along with the Shadow Dragon characters. And I've seen one user complaining about Marth's tuxedo DLC costume, saying that it doesn't make sense. Even though I told him that if you play the original Fire Emblem games, the one Marth is in, as well as the remakes, then you'll completely understand why he wears the tuxedo outfit.
Can we just be honest? The Fire Emblem's Warriors is a Warriors game. Why are you looking for sense? It's an arcade style hack and slash, killing tons and tons of enemies. It's
an annoying Warriors game.
Like if you're playing a game like that and you're like, this does not follow the canonical things going on. I mean, let's keep it real, okay? None of them are supposed to make sense because technically speaking, like in Zelda, I know it's not called in Hyrule Warriors. In Hyrule Warriors, technically speaking, no one should be able to do any damage to Ganondorf except for Link. He should be friggin' invincible, unless you're fighting as Link with the Master Sword.
And keep in mind that the guy I was debating to is also complaining about how there's no Ike or Roy or any of the non-Awakening / Fates characters added onto the roster.
Okay, that's when you got to just walk away. That's when you just got to.
And he also previously complained about Xenoblade Chronicles 2 being too easy.
Oh,
well, it is a little easy. But that's if you grind. If you grind, it's kind of easy. If you don't grind,
I was about to say, if you do RPG grinding before you get to the first boss, it's gonna be like water.
Yeah, the whole game. If you basically get to the point where normal enemies, except for the super powered ones, but normal enemies just you can walk past them and they're high level for the area and they just ignore you because you're so much higher than them, then it's easy. If running around, once you get to the final area of the game and the high level 60, 70, 80 level enemies are attacking you, then like normal enemies, not the named ones, then it's a hard game. But if you're basically walking past high level enemies and they aren't messing with you because you're higher than them, yeah, the game is really easy. It depends on what type of RPG, or if you play a lot of JRPGs, then it's easy. If you don't, then it's not. So
Yeah.
I mean, it's for different people, different stuff is easy for different people. Like for me, it's kind of easy.
I mean,
until post game, right?
Even the post game is easy. Like basically, I've beaten all of the named enemies. Like the toughest named enemy is this 130 dude, and I killed him. And he wasn't even as hard as Euphorion, the 118 level, the 118 Euphorion. So it's like, it like for me, it's like I've beaten the toughest enemies in the game. So it's like, it's easy for me. For me.
Right. So with that said, see if I can find anything else. Nope. I think that's about it. Oh wait, licensing issues is causing Shaq Fu Legends Reborn to be delayed.
all right.
Man, no one asked for another Shaq Fu game. That game just needs to die. It needs to die. Die. It needs to die.
Shaq Fu is I think somebody's been on the shrooms if they.
I mean, the reason why a Legend Reborn was even made is because of the meme status of the original Shaq Fu.
It was so bad, it was legendary.
And I'm someone who had Shaq Fu. That's the only SNES game I destroyed. Like, and I don't destroy stuff, but Shaq Fu I destroyed. I'm like, fuck this game, and I destroyed it. And I don't feel bad about it.
But you could have just kept it for a novelty.
Man, that game is so bad, I don't even want to keep it for just memories.
I was about to say, would you at least keep a part of it that you destroyed?
No, it had to die. Shaq Fu had to die. It had to die. It couldn't be allowed to live. Because that game is so bad.
I know, but as I was saying, I thought you at least to keep a piece of what you destroyed of it.
No, I smashed it with a hammer, and then I took the bits and pieces and ran them over with a car, and then I swept them up and threw them in the trash.
Have you guys tried out getting over it?
I tried getting over it. Oh, that's what I was doing. That's why I smashed it into bits and pieces. I was getting over it.
I mean, the game getting over it.
Oh no.
I never heard that.
It's basically from the same guy who created the Co-op game. You guys heard of that too, right?
No.
It's a flat game where you have to move a sprinter by using the.
Oh no! I know it now.
Oh, you mean the game where the dude's got a hammer and he's like trying to
more like
around?
Yep. I remember the famous runner game that you have to use 4 keys in order to move parts of his body.
Yeah.
Yep.
The co-op game
also
where you're a runner.
Over it. And people are praising the game.
I mean, it depends on what you like, what type of games you like. I mean, I personally, I don't like games like that because they're difficult for the sake of being difficult. Like, I don't like games that are difficult just for the sake of being difficult.
Yeah,
though some people like that because they hate playing games that are too easy for them. At least times.
Like I said, it's just gonna boil down to how you feel about it. Like, I don't like games like that, but some people do. Some people like really, really difficult games. I don't. Like, I don't play video games just so that it's so hard. I mean, playing a really hard game is like getting kicked in the nuts. Like, why would I want to voluntarily get kicked in the nuts? I don't get that. But some people, they like that, so that's them. But I'm not crazy about it. But that's just me.
Yeah, I mean, there's some games that you go for a challenge, and then there's games that you go for the fun of it.
And that's pretty much everything I had to say, aside from the Kingdom Hearts 3 trailer, which I already mentioned yesterday in the Sci-Fi Power Hour-ish.
Oh God, I'm
I'm
sorry.
going to say this right now. Kingdom Hearts is no relevance anymore because it's so late, and if anything, it didn't even announce any dates at all.
It said that they're going to announce the release date on E3.
That's what I think about.
Wake me up when the game is here. That's probably what everybody's going to say.
Yeah, I have no. I don't care. It's been 12 goddamn years. It's taken too long for them to get to that point. So I just don't care at this point.
I was gonna say, I care because I want to at least know that somebody in the gaming world that is able to count to 3.
I just don't care. I just like I never really liked Kingdom Hearts. I played it and I was like, I don't see why people love these games so much because they're garbage. But that's just me.
Careful, you're gonna take off. Never mind. Continue.
No, I know there's a lot of people who.
Yeah, I was just gonna mention this one user from our circle who likes Kingdom Hearts, but it's fair not to mention his name.
No, I know there's a lot of people who like Kingdom Hearts. I don't. I don't really like. I don't really like Kingdom Hearts. I think it's a garbage ass game. Overrated is all get out. I know some people are going to get mad at me when I say that. Oh, what do you mean? How can you say that? It's Kingdom Hearts. Don't care. Don't really care about it.
Anything else you guys wanted to say before we wrap things up?
No. That's it. I have nothing else to say about it except don't really like Kingdom Hearts. Don't care.
Alrighty then.
Well, for me, I'll just close this out. If anything, thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for joining the BS Busters, and if anything, we'll be back next week for more sweeping of the dung. And of course, if you want to tune in a little early for some movies, we'll be featuring some entertainment of the Marvel kind.
Yeah, I'm going to be doing a review of Black Panther and the Godzilla Planet Monster movie, because Planet Godzilla movie, because
you got some words to say about it.
Yeah, I got some words to say about it. But aside from that,
part of a trilogy. Just letting you know, in case that if you have problems with it.
Yeah, it might get better, but probably not. But that's neither here nor there. That's the end of the video. Enjoy. We'll have another Questionathon next month in March, so look forward to that. And good night.
Later. And enjoy your OJ responsibly.